Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for meeting.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah, I know I'm really excited to hear like kind of like your background and then also I know there's other people involved. Personally, like I like to kind of share the background and like stories that we don't usually hear about people,
Mhm.
especially, not like a huge corporation. Like you guys are kind of just like real people and
Yeah,
getting to know and sharing that side that not only, we're supporting you, we're all
yeah.
supporting like your vision, you, and not
And
like,
your vision and your, retreat goers. And it's so funny because you said we're not a big corporation, although I just realized I'm looking very corporate today.
I know, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so dressed out.
No, I should have been. I had all these calls today and another interview that I'm doing and stuff. So yeah, I just realized, oh yeah, I don't look like I have a business in Costa Rica.
Yeah, so if you want to just tell us about yourself, and then I want to hear all about Anamaya, how it got started and things like that. I know that I
Yeah.
did some research online, like on your website. There's a little bit about you guys, and it's kind of interesting what I found. Um, just so yeah, if you want to go ahead and share.
Yeah, yeah. And feel free to ask me any questions, or if there's something I've maybe that you've read that I leave out.
Okay.
So yeah, so I'm originally from Canada. I was born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. And then I lived in Vancouver for a while. I lived in Japan for a while, and then I moved to Toronto. And I met my husband there and got married and anyway, and then it's coming up on our 9-year anniversary. Actually, 9 years ago, we moved to New York. So now I'm based here in New York. Um, and I I was in the film and television industry for a while. I went to theater school here in New York as well in my 20s. And I kind of started in the modeling side of things. And then I got into commercials and commercial work. And then I came to New York. I was like doing some scene study classes and things like that in Toronto. And then one of my instructors said, you should go to theater school in New York City. I was like, well, that sounds like a great idea. New York's one of my favorite places. And I grew up also as a dancer, performing. And so I came to New York. I went to theater school here. I went to Circle in the Square, and then moved back to Toronto and started working in the industry there. And I started producing because I was like kind of tired of being the bud girl in commercials. And I was like, I want to create my own work. And so I started producing. And so I've always kind of had my like this entrepreneurial kind of spirit. And my husband, I'm no longer in the industry, but my husband is. He's an actor, well-known voice actor. He's also in a television series right now that's doing very well, and so that's one of the reasons why we moved to New York.
Okay.
um but then we got married. I was pregnant, and we went to Costa Rica because we were looking at buying property. And so we met this guy, Jeff McCabe, who was a real estate agent at the time. He had a real estate company. I had only communicated with him through email. And so my husband and I were like, let's get on a plane. We'll head to Costa Rica because Jeff had contacted me and said there's a bunch of people who are selling their property. It was right after the 2008 crash, and a lot of people just wanted to liquidate their assets. And so I said to my husband, I said, we're not going to buy anything sight unseen. So let's do a quick trip to Costa Rica. Literally, we were there for the weekend. I think we flew in and we met Jeff for a full day, and then we flew home the next day. So
You had been there before though to Costa Rica?
I had been there multiple times. I had been there before I met Scotty, my husband, and then Scotty and I started dating, and I told him how much I loved Costa Rica and I wanted to go back and do like a surfing and yoga retreat for women.
Mm.
And then we were dating, and then he surprised me with a trip to Costa Rica at a surf camp in Tamarindo. And while we were there, he actually proposed to me on the beach at sunset. And then we were engaged for almost 2.5 years, and then we went back to Costa Rica with 50 of our friends and family and got married in Costa Rica as
Oh,
well. So it was a
wow.
very special place for us.
Okay.
And that whole time I had met my husband, Scotty, I was like, I'm going to own property in Costa Rica one day. It was just a dream. I didn't speak the language. I didn't even know, like, how do I buy property in another country? I just knew I wanted to have a vacation home in Costa Rica one day. Um, and I just told anyone who would listen. And so then I was back and forth with this real estate agent, Jeff, and he said there's a bunch of people who are selling property. I said, okay, great, Scotty, let's go. So we left, came to Costa Rica. We were there literally, I think, for less than 72 hours. And Jeff showed us around a ton of property. We did actually make an offer on a piece of property that day. But during this time with Jeff, he was sharing with me that he was opening, with a number of other shareholders, opening a rehabilitation center for
Mm.
drug and alcohol addiction, a
Wow.
high-end rehabilitation center in in basically in his old property. Like him and his wife had this big beautiful home and lots of property, and so they were going to move, and this property was going to become this rehabilitation center. So that got my that kind of like piqued my curiosity, and so I talked to him a little bit more. Addiction, is pervasive. I mean, in every, everyone's lives, but like especially through mine, and with family members and all
Mm-hmm.
that. So it was very, I was very curious to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we left Costa Rica that trip. We did make an offer on a piece of property, but I continued to have the conversation with Jeff about this rehabilitation center. I was really interested, and I considered becoming a silent partner.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the woman who was going to run the program. I talked to a few other people, and then I decided I was going to just become a silent partner and invest in for a certain amount of shares. Anyway, that never happened. That didn't happen. Months later, I basically got a phone call from Jeff saying we're pulling the plug on this project.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to move forward with this woman they had originally partnered with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I said, well, let's do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know it at the time, but someone else who was going to be a part of this program, Joseph, he was also saying to Jeff, well, let's just do something else. And I was like, let's just open up a boutique hotel. And Joseph was like, let's open up like a retreat center. And
Mm-hmm.
so Jeff's listening to both of us saying, okay, well, let's bring you all together. So the three of us came together. And I think we probably had that conversation in June of 2009, and in December of 2009, Anamaya opened its doors.
Wow. Yeah, so this is kind of like before the retreat craze,
Yeah.
probably like it wasn't as popular. I mean, I went on my first retreat, I think 2015, and I feel
Right.
like I didn't know anybody else who's ever done that. It was like a kiteboarding and yoga one in Tulum, and like
Yeah.
the first of all, the thought of traveling solo, I've never met anyone else who's done that. And
Right.
then me like just going out, it was a women's retreat, and like it wasn't like super deep or anything, but it was still like, a week long like introduction, I guess, to that kind of way to travel. Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
different. It's like, nobody ever, we go to bed early, we wake up early, we're active. It's a
Yeah.
group of women that are like all kind of like-minded,
Yeah.
and it's centered around something that's other than just like drinking and getting,
Yeah.
eating. Or, I mean, we ate
Exactly.
good, but like we
Yeah.
ate good. That was like the point. It wasn't like bad food. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, a good, um, I feel like at that time it wasn't as popular at all, especially 2009. No way.
No, definitely not. Like I feel like when we started, there were maybe like, I don't know, half a dozen retreat centers around the world, one in Mexico, one in
Wow.
Bali, and then maybe one in
Right.
California and then in Costa Rica. And so, even like the wellness industry, like people
Mm-hmm.
didn't really use that, kind of verbiage, right? Like
No,
nobody really understood, well, what's the wellness industry?
no one.
Yeah. So,
I have a background in yoga too, like starting in 2010 and 11. So like
yeah,
back then it was like this stuff only was talked about. You had to go to a yoga facility to
yes,
find this type of conversation,
exactly.
how to incorporate lifestyle medicine. It didn't exist.
Yeah, no, not at
And
all.
people
And
were actually very triggered to like
oh,
talk this way.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Because they just weren't familiar with it.
No,
Right.
no.
And, people were familiar with retreat or resorts. You go to
Yeah.
resort but it's debaucherous, right? Like all you can eat, all you can drink, as much alcohol as you want. You can start
Yeah.
at 9 a.m. if you want. Maybe those drinks are watered down, but still it was like you come home from that
Yeah.
definitely feeling like you need a holiday from your vacation, probably in not great shape in terms of your health and
Right.
wellness. You
Right.
might have had a fun time, but it's a very different idea of like going on retreat where we believe at Anamaya that we help transform you at a cellular level, and that's like
Mhm.
emotional health, mental health, physical health, and also like, and you can have a glass of wine with dinner, and you can have a
Yeah.
beer poolside if you want, like it doesn't
Right.
mean that yoga and wine are mutually exclusive. But when you come home, especially from a retreat at Anamaya, you feel like rejuvenated. It's an amazing, experience. And I get to hear it from our guests like all the time, how they're like, I've literally changed the way that I eat now that I come home, or my yoga practice is amplified, since I've been back. And that's really great to hear.
Yeah, I think it's just like resetting our habits too. Like it's a great opportunity to wake up early, get
Mhm.
outside, feel nature around you, which
Yeah.
many of us don't get every day.
Yeah.
Also, like being just mindful, you have time to be mindful. Not everyone has that time to slow down in our
Yeah.
regular lives. The food, then, I mean, I would love to talk to you about the food.
Mhm.
What are some of like the dishes that are favorites or like that you guys, what to expect as far as dishes?
Yeah, I mean it changes based on also what's available because of, the season.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to create dishes and meals that run, that connect with the seasons and what's growing and
Mm-hmm.
what we have available. We're completely gluten free. But our bread is the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've never had gluten free bread that I like. Me too, except for at Anamaya. We're also dairy free, but that for our guests, if they're like, I really want some goat cheese on my salad or something like that, they can go into town and they can purchase, anything that they would like, or like we make homemade um, coconut milk or almond milk for your coffee. Amazing Costa Rican coffee in the morning. But if you really wanted milk, it's not like it's not allowed on the property, but our guests will go down and buy their own, and then they'll just keep it in the main fridge that we have in the main house. But we've created our meals to be very like, they're plant-based. We do serve chicken, we do serve fish, we don't serve pork or red meat. We can cater to vegan or vegetarian or pescatarian. And so it's just about eating clean, but
Mm-hmm.
also like creating delicious meals. And
Mm-hmm.
we've gotten such amazing feedback on how amazing our meals are, that we created an online cookbook. There's like, right, we need a cookbook. We need a cookbook. So we decided, well, maybe a hardcover, a
Mm-hmm.
hard copy cookbook isn't necessarily the way to go. So we did an online cookbook, so that we can update regularly, like every month we can update it with new recipes that our
Mm-hmm.
kitchen, you know, create. So yeah, so it's a lot of fun. We cook with a lot of love.
Sounds amazing. And it's also like you could like you it's not just like lettuce every day, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
variety. It's like it's
Yeah.
filling.
Oh yeah, like soups and really, interesting like dishes with, let's say the protein is fish or chicken or vegetarian. Like, and some people who are like, I eat a lot of meat, I eat a lot of pork and beef and just meat in my regular, like I'm an omnivore. They come back, they come out of Anamaya like feeling like, they've had these amazing meals, totally satiated, like flavor parties in their mouth, like all the, the wonderful flavors that we create in the different dishes. So it's it's a part of the, so Anamaya means like free of disease in
Mhm.
Sanskrit. So as clean and as healthy as we can, create our meals. That's very important to us, but also so is, pleasure, and we get so much pleasure from eating.
Mhm.
So, we want it to be pleasurable and enjoyable and, delicious for our guests.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I'm it's very excited to have for all the food. I just love. I've been to Costa Rica before and I just love the food there. I could eat
Yeah,
rice and beans every day for
I
breakfast.
know.
I
So
love how
good.
like breakfast doesn't have to look like breakfast, like how
No,
we are used to.
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
hmm
exactly.
And all the fresh juices that are made.
Yeah,
It's just
smoothies and
amazing.
juices. Yeah. And with our, with our meals too, like with our dinner, it's like a three-course meal. So you have your appetizer, then you'll have your main, and then we create these really amazing desserts. So again,
Yeah,
it's not about like depriving yourself. Like you can have a glass of wine, you can have a dessert.
exactly.
My business partner just came up with a really great tahini, that's my dog, that's Booker.
Uh,
Tahini, chocolate, dark chocolate chunk tahini gluten-free cookie.
ooh,
And so and he sells them there so the guests, can enjoy like a cookie or something like that. And so it's not about depraving yourself,
right. And
but we
I
can still be
told
healthy and enjoy, right?
definitely. And I've been on I've hosted a lot of retreats now, and I myself have been on some. So like I kind of I like to like gravitate in the middle where it's like I'm not restricting people or making them do anything on retreats. Like everything is kind of like if you don't want to, you don't have to, but we encourage you to like do like wake up or maybe like
Hmm.
try to wake up and like experience this. But then also if you want to have a glass of wine, totally. But like obviously don't drink like the whole bottle or two bottles, let's just like make that we're just enjoying the time and allowing it to end when it ends and then go to bed and then start again
Yeah,
the next day and enjoy the day. So it's all about like
yeah,
the day for me and enjoying sun up and sun down.
yeah,
So it's because
yeah.
I know in Costa Rica too, the sun sets early, like at
It
the
does.
same time almost every day. So it's a
Yeah,
very cool consistency and but it also like really I don't know, like it shifts the way that your usual clock. Like it's just
yeah, it totally can adjust your circadian rhythm, like
yeah,
for sure.
it
Because the
does.
sun is up at 5:30, it goes down around 5:30 because we're
hmm
we're close to the equator. So it's like up and
hmm
down, like you said, close to the same time every day. And so at 9 o'clock, the sun's been down for like 3.5 hours.
Right.
You're
Like
like all of a
but
sudden you
you're
feel like,
naturally tired. It's not like,
yeah,
oh, I have to go to bed. It just feels right. So I
yeah,
think that's so cool to experience. So many of us here, we're so out of touch with that circadian rhythm, and there's so much science like that supports. They say that like if you're not on that, it's like almost is equal to a carcinogen. Like if you're ignoring,
right.
yeah, it's just like detrimental to your health.
Yeah,
So another reason why it affects you on a cellular level. It literally
yeah,
does. It changes your mitochondria, like when you're
yeah.
exposed to the different sunlight, especially in the morning and afternoon sunset.
Hmm.
So I'm sure that you're aware and are knowledgeable on all that because you guys
Yeah.
are also very I would say passionate about detox, I want to say, or
Hmm.
is it like your owners? Because I know I read some stuff about that, like this diet detox, biohacking, and then I also read like a little bit of like random, they're all fired. dancers. So,
Yeah, so I'm not, but my two business partners are. So I did, I was a dancer and I was a magician's assistant. So
wow,
I also come from a performing background. And then my two business partners, Joseph and Jeff, they came from a performance background because they were both fire dancers.
in
So
Costa
we
Rica.
all kind of had this like performance, like we none of us really had any hospitality, or background in hospitality. But we all had this or have kind of this background in performance. And
Yeah.
so I think like presentation and the space and the colors and how, like, again, how we present the food, how we present the space, how we present our staff, just the energy of the space is super super important to us. And I think that is part of the reason why I think we've survived for 15 and a half years and survived COVID and all the ups and downs in terms of the economy. And, now it feels like there is a retreat center on every corner, which is fine. But I think that competition forces you to kind of up your game, which I don't know if we've ever really felt like we've needed to. We've pivoted with our business model, but I think that background in performance for all three of us main owners helped to kind of amplify the and infuse the energy of what Anamaya became. Does that make
I think
sense?
so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the staff too. Like I don't know if you want to talk about like the staff and the people that work there.
Yeah, they're amazing. I just received some feedback that I shared with my staff that, if anybody's been to Anamaya, they'll know Gretel. Gretel is part of our reception team, and she's been with us, I think, the longest. And like she's the heart and soul of Anamaya. Everyone loves Gretel. Everyone comments on how amazing she is. And even with all of our other staff, like we have an amazing reception team, we have amazing reservations team, we have amazing, staff in our kitchen. Our entire staff are amazing. But the more forward fronting, for like people in kind of in like the front of the house, right? Like our reception,
Hmm.
like Gretel and Ruben and a few of our other receptionists, they're the face of Anamaya, and
Hmm.
they get to know everyone. They know everyone's name by like the first day. They know like they know their history. They know their deep darkest secrets. Like
Yes.
it's kind of, it's very cool. And we don't have a huge turnover with a lot of our staff. So, which is also great. We have an amazing team. We're very, very grateful for them. And once you've been to Anamaya, you're a part of the Anamaya family. But I think it's our reception team and some of our other staff that really make you feel like you're a family. And
Yeah.
every time people come to Anamaya, whether you've been there before or not, we do have many repeat guests, but they say welcome home when you
Yeah,
walk.
I think that's one of the amazing things about retreat is like the way that you weld into like the staff and
Yeah.
how interconnected you become with them. And it literally does feel like family, especially
Yeah.
after a week, because you're waking up with them, you're seeing them every day throughout the grounds, and like it's a small community. So it's like your conversations are you're having a conversation with like the bar staff or the
Mhm.
wait staff and things of that nature because you're in this kind of ecosystem,
Yeah.
little mini ecosystem in the
Yeah.
jungle together, which is so cool. And everyone is just so humble. Like especially
Yeah.
Costa Rica, Central America, they're just like the most amazing people that just want to make our experience
Yeah.
great.
Truly.
And yeah, so I always like I think about the staff still, and I'm like always sending like the owner, I'm like, tell them we miss them,
Yeah.
and thinking of them and sending, and they'll send us pictures like so and so says hi. So yeah,
Yeah.
it really does, relationships really do form.
Oh my gosh, they really do. I feel like Gretel probably has more friends on social than I do, because everyone
Yeah.
just like, and then they're talking about their next retreat and they're coming back, for a reunion, and, and all of a sudden
Yeah.
they become besties with Gretel. It's great. Not only Gretel, many of our staff, but
Yeah.
she's one that people really gravitate towards. She's very
Ye-
special.
That's yeah, that's amazing. Can you tell us about like the town, like Montezuma, what it's like around and like getting around and stuff like that?
Yeah, I love Montezuma. So, one of the reasons why I love Montezuma is because it's this cute little fishing town. It's very charming, but it also doesn't feel like it's been taken over by tourism.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I love about Montezuma is that it's a really beautiful, like when you're down in Montezuma town, it feels like it's a really beautiful mix of expats, of locals, and tourists, and everyone mingles together. Where I've been in other countries, but also other areas of Costa Rica, where that's not the case. Like it feels very segregated, and not everyone like connects and hangs out in the same way like they do in Montezuma. And I don't know if it's the design of the town and everyone comes together in the center of the town, or it's just the energy of the people there. um but it's really unique. I haven't experienced, I mean, I haven't been everywhere in Costa Rica, but I've traveled a lot, and been going there for for over 20 years, but I've never experienced that same kind of connection and energy between the people, which I love about Montezuma. And it's also, some of the roads are still unpaved, and it's a little harder to get to, but I like that because once you
Yeah.
do arrive, you can tell that it's very authentic and really charming.
Yeah, and I like specifically seek out places like that that are not touristy, that
Yeah,
are like either up and coming even, or just like out off out of bounds slightly,
yeah,
but not
yeah,
impossible to get to
yeah,
because
exactly.
it's just nobody wants to go to Costa Rica and then have like a Miami Beach situation,
Yeah,
like I've seen even like every yoga retreat goes to Nosara, I want to say.
yeah, no, sorry,
And
it's pretty popular.
yeah, I've seen pictures and then surfing too and yoga now in Tamarindo and just like the prices these days and like the amount of hotels these days and the beach. I mean, I've seen pictures of surf classes, which we will probably do with some surf lessons, but it's like
Mhm.
100 people out there,
Yeah.
which is A, dangerous, and not
Mhm.
fun, and you're not really
No.
getting a good wave. You're just like riding it straight in.
Mhm.
So I think that's specifically too is like what I seek out too is you're gonna have like this exclusive experience that nobody else is the, gonna have. Like majority of people are gonna go to Tamarindo or Nosara. They're not gonna go to
Yeah.
Montezuma.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's, and for some people, maybe that's what they want. And that,
Mm-hmm.
great, you do you.
Fair.
But I think like for the majority of our ideal clients or retreat leaders like yourself who are
Yeah.
looking for something like that, it's Montezuma is a great
And it
option.
helps you actually have a retreat experience, I would say. So you're
Yeah.
not super distracted by like, oh, what's
Yeah.
going on over there? What are those people look like they're having fun, but
Yeah.
they're also like, whatever. They're having like a typical vacation
Yeah.
experience. So it's like important, I think, to really have that a little bit of like time to self and
Yeah, yeah, because I
privacy.
think many people who are going on retreat as well, like they're either going through a crossroads in their life,
Mhm.
or they've been through a divorce, or they're, leaving a job or starting a new one, or
Mhm.
they're empty nesters,
Yeah.
or there's been a death in their family, or a partner. There's a lot of people who come where they are in a transitional period and they need just kind of go inward and reflect and
Mhm.
just have some peace to be able to do that and rejuvenate their body and their mind and just find the time to
Yes.
to just look at what their life is going to be like moving forward and have that moment to do that, because I think it's
Yeah.
hard for us to do that when we're in our regular day to day. And it's hard for us to just kind of tune all of that out and find that balance and center.
Yeah.
But when you're on retreat, you could literally do it every day.
Yeah, it's not hard to do. And
No.
even if you feel like anxious about it or like, I don't know if I can do that. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just natural. When you're in that environment, it just naturally happens. So it's almost
Yeah.
effortless. So it's just
Yeah.
getting yourself there and you can have an experience without even, you don't even have to do yoga like every day.
No,
Like it's
no.
not even about that, even though that's a great way to like, move your muscles and
Get
strengthen,
into your
you know,
body.
manage your body. But like the yoga can come from sitting, on the
Yeah.
porch every day. That can be your yoga. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily physical. So it's definitely for anybody. And there's nothing different about another person than me. Like all of us in this
Mhm.
environment, we all just naturally find ease. It just
Yeah.
happens. So, and it's a beautiful experience too, because the people who come on retreat have this unique experience that they'll hold on forever. Like the
Yeah.
retreats I've been on with people, like I still to this day are friends with them online. We check in, we say hi. We're always like, they're almost like my number one supporters in some way.
Yeah.
I've only met them one time and they're always
Yeah.
saying happy birthday or liking my stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, we shared that little experience together.
Yeah.
And you'll
Yeah.
never forget it.
Exactly. It happens like every week at Anamaya. And like,
Aw.
there's these groups that bond so powerfully and so strongly. And, and I think it's also interesting too, because if you're navigating, and here's the thing, you don't have to be navigating a big, transition in your
Right.
life to go on retreat. I think sometimes you can just go because, you're feeling a little burnt out or overwhelmed and you just want the
Hmm.
break. But I think that then when you're around a group of like-minded people, it allows you to process certain things in your life in a different way than you would from like your familiar friends or family or environment.
Hmm.
You're taken out of that environment, put into a new environment, allowed to breathe and um reset your nervous system and just be
Hmm.
around new like-minded people. And I think that also just that inherently allows you to move forward with more clarity and maybe process things a
Hmm.
little bit differently, and then also create these lifelong friendships or connections, like you
Yeah.
said, you might have only ever met them once, but you still have
Yeah.
that bond and that memory.
Definitely.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that.
and it can really crack you open too. Like,
Yeah.
you're now in a room with other people that are open. There it's meant to be an open experience.
Yeah.
And so you're able to have you can experience non-judgment. There's
Mhm.
a safe zone that's just even
Yeah.
unspoken. But yeah, we do talk about it, and so it is a really comforting, supportive space that sometimes we and don't always get to experience um, just
Yeah.
daily. So it's pretty amazing, and I'm excited for it, and
Yay.
I'm just so pumped.
Yeah, we
If
can't wait to have you
you
in your group.
Yeah, do you get to go to Costa Rica off? So you're in New York. Do you get to
I'm
go
in New
there
York
often?
now. Yeah. So I wish I could go more. So there was a time period where I was going probably 3 or 4 times a year. And then we moved to New York and that definitely got a little bit harder. But I last time I was there was about a year and a half ago. And I have to say, I think since COVID, since the pandemic, I'm definitely connecting to my team differently than I would have in the past, like, through Zoom, through WhatsApp. I connect with
Mhm.
them daily, multiple times a day. So like even before our call today, I spoke with my business partner multiple times. I spoke with our spa director a couple of times, a few times, and our Albert, our GM, a few times just through WhatsApp, like, messaging each other. And like when we met, we had a Zoom call, and um, I'm connecting with the team and, with our retreat leaders every single day, sometimes almost like all day. It takes up the majority of my day sometimes. So that's helped me feel a little more connected. But then the downside is I'm not feeling the urgency to get there as often
Yeah.
as maybe I would have in the past. Um, but so yeah, so I think our plan for my family, because we own a house there as well, about 10-15 minutes away from Anamaya, is to go back in December, over the holidays. So we're looking forward to
Well,
that.
that's amazing. Even the fact that you go there every other year or whatever,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be home at some point. I'm sure,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
or more longer period of time.
Yeah.
That's like a dream.
Yeah.
Live seasonally or something.
Yeah, well, when my daughter was a baby or when she was young, we would go there for a month, usually mid-December to mid-January, because we would just take her out of school because she was in, preschool or grade one or whatnot. So it was easier to take her out of school. Now that she's in high school, that's a little bit of a different story. We can't,
Yeah.
take her out of school for that long. But but we'll go during the holidays, and then I think she'll be off. She'll be done high school in a few years, and then off to college, and then my husband and I might be able to enjoy those longer time, those longer stretches of time in Costa Rica, like we were able to, when she was younger. So
Wonderful. Well, it was so nice chatting. And if you,
yeah.
um, yeah, do you have any like future plans for the place or like for business? Just curious
Yeah,
for
well,
you.
it's like we're definitely now transitioning, because I think in the past we've definitely been known as a yoga retreat center, but I
Mm-hmm.
think we're, to what you were speaking about before, like we're, Joseph, one of my, my business partners, he's now offering detox retreats. That's his passion. He's a naturopath as well now by trade. So we're looking now at kind of, we're still offering yoga, but we're also shifting into like more of that wellness retreat
Mm-hmm.
space. And so that we're offering wellness in all, all in all shapes and forms and styles,
Mm-hmm.
and not just yoga.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a cold plunge at the resort. We have a infrared sauna at the resort. Joseph is my business partner, is offering a bunch of different wellness add-ons that you can opt into when you're at Anamaya. So that's kind of the pivot that we're taking right now into going into more of the, more of a overall wellness, health and wellness
Mm-hmm.
space, and not just yoga.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like yourself, now we didn't always do this, but now we're offering Anamaya for people to host their own retreats, because there's so many
Mm-hmm.
retreat leaders around the world now that want to host their own retreats. So we rent the whole space out, or we rent half the space out, depending on your numbers. And so that's really been growing over the last couple of years, which has been great.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And then for me as well, like it's allowed me to have a coaching practice, because now I coach women wellness entrepreneurs, and how to build their businesses. Because I had women who were coming to me saying, like, I want to learn more about how you do what you do, and how did you build this business? And so, so then I started a coaching practice, I guess almost 10 years ago now,
Wow.
to, coaching other women on how to build a wellness space. Because I think for women entrepreneurs, like the bro marketing tactics of, of promotion don't necessarily speak to them. They don't feel like it's in alignment with how they want to promote what they do. And I think also for women in the wellness space, promoting your business and growing your business looks very different, you know?
I think it's a hard because I own a yoga studio, so it's hard
Yeah.
to navigate business and wellness because
Yeah.
it's a heart-centered
Yeah.
business, uh just service. So
Yeah.
to make it a business, I think is difficult because
It
most of the
is.
people who are behind it and who are talented and who are healers aren't necessarily the most outgoing people. They're kind
Mhm.
of the more soft, gentle, the
Mhm.
ones who have been in the background for most of their life.
Yeah. And they might not have any business
It
experience.
might,
Like they might
most of
have,
us don't.
most of them have not gone to business school.
Most of us
So
no, don't, no.
yeah,
And also it's our own lifestyle. So it's like
exactly.
people who have been living this way for a long time, long practitioners of yoga who are
Yeah.
stepping into this leadership role now without any idea of how to
Yeah.
do it. I can relate. And then also
Yeah.
having to charge a reasonable, decent price because
Yes.
where I get hung up is like giving too much away for free because it's like
Yeah.
we're all empathic people
Yeah.
mostly.
Yeah.
So
A
yeah,
hundred
it's
percent.
not easy.
It's not easy. So that's why, Anamaya kind of allowed me to now work with other women to help them navigate that because it's
Yeah,
hard and it's hard. So that's
yeah,
kind of the side benefit that I never really anticipated happening, but has, kind of fell into my lap and I love it. I love working with women and I love women, you know, leaning into this skill set that they have or this lifestyle that they are so passionate about so that they
yeah,
can teach others,
yeah,
so yeah, it's
yeah. And it's also healing. It's healing when you step into this type of business. You're healing parts of yourself that like you didn't know you had to,
uh,
like speaking.
yeah,
Oh, I didn't know I had to. I'm all an energy person, so it's like,
yeah,
oh, my throat chakra was
yeah,
blocked for years. That's why it was difficult to teach or to speak. But now that I'm
right,
teaching, it totally opens up.
opened up,
So yeah, same thing with like whatever other business, like,
yeah,
building confidence and
yeah,
so much happens when you
yeah,
step into business.
yeah, so much,
Mhm. But
yeah,
thank you so much for your time and
yeah, it's my
getting to know
pleasure.
you.
Yeah, this is so much fun. Yeah, just a little inside behind the scenes of Anamaya and its history.
Yeah, definitely. And I like to
Yeah,
get to know like the real people and who are supporting and
yeah,
you know and little inside scoop on how it how Anamaya
yeah,
is behind the scenes too. So
yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. It's been so much fun. We can't wait to have you and your group come to Anamaya next year.
You'll love us. Everyone always says that. Like the last retreat we were on, they were like, "Oh my God, these yoga people come and they're so they'll say like snotty. They're like,
Right?
oh, the internet went down today because where we went, the power might go out." And,
Sure.
they're like, "We're so used to them wanting stuff on demand and
Right.
taking." And here comes our group who is very similar to me. And
Yeah.
because I think I set the tone of like
Yeah.
this very free, go with the flow, like
Yeah.
actually practice the yoga, which is like,
Nice.
kind of letting go and
Yeah.
not attaching to
That's
outcome,
right.
the whole thing. So I
Yeah.
live that way. So everyone who comes with me, you end up kind of taking that on a little bit, or you might.
That's awesome. Well, you attract, right? Like attracts like, right?
Yes,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yes. Usually that happens.
Yeah. I
Uh,
love that.
so yeah,
Yeah.
we look forward to it, and
I can't wait.
I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you again for this. This was so much fun. And yeah, we can't wait to welcome you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful
Okay.
day.
You too. Take care.
You too. Bye.
Bye.